Consider these questions. What is truth and how do we know the truth? What is the difference between the two? I think that is an important question, to know the difference between the two, but a more important question is knowing which takes priority. For instance, can you answer number 2 without answering number 1? Can you answer number 1 without answering number 2? So the first question is a metaphysical question. The second question is an epistemological question. The first question begs for a metaphysical criterion, it begs for a definition of truth. But the second question begs for an epistemic criterion. Another way of formulating these questions: question 1, what is X? Question 2, how do we know X? Now supposing that you have an answer to number 1, should your answer to number 1 necessarily imply an answer to number 2? If you have an answer to number 1 that does not address question number 2, my claim is that there's going to be a problem. Your metaphysical theory of truth is going to be problematic. Now, before I discuss the different theories offered by Garrett in this chapter and offer my critique, let's assume a definition of truth. A number of logicians and metaphysicians would say that truth is a property of a certain X, in the same way that green is a property of this tumbler. But what is X? They suppose that X is a proposition. So what is a proposition? A proposition is a claim, a statement. The tumbler is green is a proposition. And this proposition could either be true or false. So truth is a property of this proposition. Truth is a property of P, where P is a proposition. So let's assume this definition. Let's call it B1. Truth is a property of P, where P is a proposition. So let's reformulate the two questions that I posed. The first question would be restated as, what makes P true? While the second question would be restated as, how do we know that P is true? Now, I think it's important to address these two questions because in the same way that not all tumblers are green, not all propositions are true. So it's important to determine whether the proposition to which you give your assent is true or false. So I guess this picture motivates question number 1, but I argue that it also motivates question number 2. So again, my claim is that a metaphysical theory that does not address the epistemic question is going to be problematic. So let me present to you the different metaphysical theories of truth. So again, the question, the first question, what makes P true? The first theory is the correspondence theory of truth. CPT offers this criterion. P, where P is a complex proposition, is true only if A and B, where A and B are simple propositions, have the same structure as X and Y, where X and Y are states of affairs, and A and B constitute P. In other words, notice this proposition, consider this proposition. This proposition is a complex proposition, and that it is composed of two simple propositions. Proposition A, the car is red. Proposition B, Jake is fat. A and B constitute P. Now, P is a complex proposition. Condition 1, A and B, wherein B are simple propositions, have the same structure as X and Y. What are X and Y? X and Y are states of affairs. So meaning there's an instance of X, there's a car that is red and Jake is fat. Then it satisfies the first condition. A and B have the same structure as X and Y. So given the criterion of CPT, P is 2. No problem? But it answers question number 1. But does it answer question number 2? How do we know that P is true? Let's reformulate the question, Q2. Let's frame it within the criterion offered by CPT. So the reformulation is this. How does S, where S is the knower, know that A and B have the same structure as X and Y?
Use the sentence.
But it's further reformulated, and let's use the language of epistemology. Let's use the concept of belief. What makes S's belief that A and B have the same structure as X and Y Now, proponents of CPT could could use this argument, the NDE argument, to answer the Q2, the second question. The argument would go something like this. S's belief that A and B have the same structure as X and Y is true. Definition, S's belief is grounded on NDE. NDE is non-doxastic experience. What is a non-doxastic experience? A non-doxastic experience is any experience that is not a belief. For instance, the belief that you are in pain could be justified by your experience of pain. And your experience of pain is not a belief, because if it is a belief, then you have the problem of regress, where a certain belief is justified by another belief and it doesn't end. So in this case, it's actually a structure of foundationalism. In this case, the chain ends with NDE, with experience. So the proposition or the belief A has the same structure as X is justified by this experience. The subject actually experiencing X. However, NDE cannot guarantee truth for S. Because it's possible to suppose that while you experience the redness of a car, the car is not actually red. Because your senses can deceive you, so on and so forth. So at the very least, NDE can offer a criterion of justification, but it cannot guarantee truth. The formulation of which, if you consider it as a theory of as a criterion of justification, is this: S is justified in believing that A and B have the same structure as X and Y. Definition, S's belief is grounded on NDE. If you experience pain, then you are justified in believing that you are experiencing pain. However, that does not necessarily make it true. There's a difference between justification and truth. For instance, a person may be justified in believing that person B likes him. Let's suppose that you like this girl, and this girl keeps on texting you every day, and whenever she sees you, she smiles. Tapos she likes all her stats on Facebook. So the guy is justified in believing that the girl likes him, but that does not necessarily mean that it is true. So if the criterion is reduced to a criterion of justification, then it's going to be problematic, because the concern here is truth. Therefore, CPT does not guarantee truth for S. Second theory, what makes P true? The same question, Q1, coherence theory of truth, or C.
CPT pa rin, CPT.
The criterion of C is this: P is true only if P is part of A, where A is a coherent set of beliefs. P is true only if... Yeah. So it seems that it answers Q2. It seems that it gives us a way by which we could evaluate if the belief that we have is true. Consider these propositions. I have a fever. Actually, I have a fever, I have a headache, and I feel weak. Those are the propositions. Suppose that this is set A. So what you have here is a coherent set of beliefs. And supposing you have this proposition, I am sick. This proposition is part of A. So referring to the criterion of CP, since P is part of A, P is true. And it gives us a way of checking, because all you have to do is refer to the set of beliefs that you have. However, the big question is, does it answer Q1? Does it answer the first question, which is what makes P true? It seems that it doesn't. Because consider the following propositions. I have a tail, I eat dog food, and I bark all night. Let's suppose that this guy is deluded. He thinks that he is a dog. I have a tail, I eat dog food, and I bark all night. Now consider the proposition, I am a dog. Using the same criterion, P is part of A, therefore P is true. So yes, CT offers an answer for Q2, but it does not really answer Q1. CT merely offers a criterion of justification. If P is part of S's coherent set of beliefs, then S is justified in believing that P. If you're a criminal investigator, then you may be justified in believing that someone is a suspect based on the evidences that you have, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is true. CT does not guarantee truth for S in the same way that CT does not guarantee truth. CPT does not guarantee truth for S. And last, the verification is theory of truth, or VT. The criterion is P is true only if there are two conditions. First, there is an X where X is a method of verification that verifies P. And number two, X verifies that P is true. So, supposing you have this proposition, the car is red. Is there a method that would verify whether or not this proposition is true? Yes, there is. The method is empirical observation. So there is an X that could verify whether or not P is true. So given that it satisfies the criterion, if it passes the criterion of X, then P is true. Okay, but again, does VT answer Q2? What again is Q2? How does S know that P is true? Let's reformulate Q2 using the criterion of VT. Reformulation goes, how does S know that X verifies P? Now we have two problems here. The first problem is this: that if you try to answer this question, it ultimately leads to regress. Why? Supposing that proponents of BT claims that there is an X1, where X1 is another method of verification that verifies S's belief that X verifies P. That merely begs the question, what justifies S's belief that X1 justifies the belief that X verifies P? And it doesn't end. However, if the proponents of VT naman claims that there is no real standard or real criterion that would justify his claim that X verifies P, supposing that X is merely created or imposed by S, then VT collapses into a form of relativism. Supposing that I claim that, I have a friend and I hate him, and I claim that you are ugly. Tapos sabi niya, how are you sure that that is true? And then sabi ko, if I drink coffee, tapos nabulunan ako, then you are ugly. So what I did there is I imposed a method of verification to verify whether the claim is true. So it collapses into a form of relativism. VT, same as CPT, does not guarantee truth for us. I formulate the knowability problem as, this is my formulation, can S determine whether or not a proposition is true? Now, for those who think that I am advocating skepticism, actually, yes. No. If your answer to this question is no, that does not necessarily mean that there are no truths. However, I am merely reinforcing the question, how can truths be known? And again, re-emphasizing the significance of the epistemological question. Which reminds me, this coming August we have a conference on epistemology. I'm not saying that the epistemological question should take priority over the metaphysical question. What I'm saying is that I think it offers a good way of checking whether the metaphysical theory, especially concerning the concept of truth, is valid or thanks.